Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our Rich Reflections sessions where we're going to take about, probably with daylight right now, about a half hour. And what we're going to do is just first breathe, and then I'll pose questions that are meant to get us to think just a little bit more intentionally about our own lives and the direction we want to head. Clarity. That's what we're aspiring for here. So we'll start this session, how we do every session, 5 minutes of breathing. And I'm doing this without my glasses. There's too much of a glare. So here we got I want to use some natural lighting, whereas typically in this setting, I have this light and it's kind of disturbing. So this is the sun setting. Let's begin. 5 minutes of simply just breathing. Ready, begin. We're going to try to sit, like upright. And if you can, try to keep your back straight. And we're simply just breathing in and breathing out. If thoughts come to mind, simply just let them pass. All right, so that was 5 minutes of breathing. How do you feel? Personally, I feel a little rushed. But that's me. Hopefully you're not feeling rushed. Bring out a notebook, something you write with. Maybe you're just doing it on your phone. Maybe you're just thinking, and that's fine too. The point is to just be present with it and be in the space and give energy towards these questions. And the first question, of course, as always, is what are we grateful for? Can you guys see me? I feel like I can hardly see. I could turn on this light. That's not plugged in. No, I'm just getting back from something, and just with my schedule, I'm like, I'm getting this in tonight. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? Should I put it on? Welcome to Rich Conversations. Okay, I would like us to think about what stepping back would look like to you. And I've probably went over this like a month ago. And I kept going full throttle. I knew I could step back, but I kept going full throttle, and now I'm sort of like taking a step back. Last week, published 6 books, released 7 albums, music albums. It was a fun week. And so now I'm like stepping back. Today I wrote in this journal, I probably spent an hour just like thinking and writing. And it was so relieving. It was so good. I felt like I could really see what's coming up, like how I'm feeling right now, like really like writing about it instead of just like thinking of it. To put it on paper always seems to help, which is why we, do stuff like this. But what's been something like that for you? Like just stepping back, and what are you noticing? What do you think you would notice? Like something, I've been going pretty hard this summer, and I'm very aware that I've neglected social life a little bit, working out a bit. Actually, I was flipping tires. Then what happens when I flip tires is that, if I'm doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks, my body will just be like, no. And it's like collapsed. It's like so weak. So I need like a week of recovery. Keeping the space clean and not cluttered. There's a bit of clutter. I was recognizing it as it happened, but I don't know. But when you're like in the flow, in the groove, it's like you can notice it. And I was very conscious that I was ignoring these things and neglecting these things. but I feel very, very fulfilled, very motivated by my purpose, where every day is like making tremendous progress. It's like taking monumental steps every single day feels fantastic. And so I have a lot of energy during this time. All right, I want to ask this question that my nephews asked me recently at dinner, and that's they were saying millionaire. I was like, no, millionaires are whatever, trillionaire. If you were a trillionaire, what would you do? And I was like, I would just sit and just observe. I would just do what I do now. They're like, no. You gotta, something. You gotta do something, buy something, whatever. And I was like, okay. I'd go to the airport and then strike up a conversation with someone and then have them choose my destination. And then after that, I go to the next airport, do the same thing. They're like, no. I was like, fine, immortality. And they didn't understand that. So then I was like, these nephews are like 6 years old and like 9 years old. And then I was like, I would like to walk up, when I'm old, be able to walk up the steps by myself with no pain easily. And said, no, you can't do that, like a car or a house or something. I was like, I don't need anything. I don't. So that was funny. So what would you do? Let's ask the question, our first $1 million. What would we do with our first $1 million? All at once, you know? I would, when I thought more about it, what's more fun is like spreading that energy around to different people and scenarios. So I would come up with the most creative things to like disperse that energy. All right, this next question, when was the last time that we felt really proud to have helped other people in their journey? Yeah, of these books that we put out, one is a poetry book by Anna Sadler. Really talented, intelligent, and it was so cool to like, now she's a published poet because we worked together and we collaborated on this project, and that's cool. Timothy Hayden, who's been on the podcast, he's had quite a interesting, long journey, and now he's going to be a published author. Now he is a published author, and that feels a lot more gratifying than when I'm just like pumping out my books. Because I just like, that's what I expect of myself. So I don't need a pat on the back or anything. It's like, but to help others, that it feels cool. I mean, that's a great feeling. The last person's book was Sammy Sharif, and that was in January 2020. Yeah, January 30th, 2020. I stopped publishing books for 4 or 5 years to do this podcast, and I did like 400 episodes. And now I'm really into publishing again. And we've put out 25 books this year. No, not 25, 20. I did 5 books before 2025. So 20, yeah. We put out 20 books this year. And soon I'll promote it. Okay, this incorporates the next question. What's something that people tell you, but then it doesn't seem right to you, and you do the inverse of it, and you think differently, more creatively about it? Because I'll put out these books, and then, I'll mention it to somebody, and they're like, I had no idea that you published this book, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't really promoted it. And, so everybody's always telling me, like, oh, promote that book, or promote that album, or promote that whatever. I'd rather just make a whole bunch, and now I'll promote them. Rather than, I think it cuts down on the speed and the energy if you're constantly like stopping and changing of, you're wearing one hat, which is the writing and creating and publishing, and then the other one is like your marketing hat. Those are like kind of two separate things, and then your energy and your focus is always just like a ping pong thing, right? And same thing with music. And for marketing, the point is to stand out, right? So do you want to be the person who's marketing your album next to everybody else who's marketing an album? Or make a bunch of albums and you become factually the most prolific music artist of the 21st century? I think that is more marketable than like, oh, listen to my album, I put out a new album. Screw that, Same thing with books. One book isn't impressive. A lot of people put out one book. Who cares? It's cool, but I think it's better to make a whole bunch and then promote it. That's my theory that I'm going to test. So now we're switching over. We're actually going to market the books. Blue Byron books. But what's something like that where like people tell you it's like so standardized, and I think when it's standardized, it doesn't stand out, That's the whole point, right? But like, where could that be applicable in your own life and the things that you do? So it's like doing the opposite. Where are you thinking opposite where most people are thinking traditionally? Yeah, what's crazy? Like after this round of publishing, I wrote 2 books in 2 days. One is done. The other one needs editing and looked at, but it's like so normalized too now. That's where I'm thrown off a little bit with my habits. Because traditionally, if you put out, I've been with bands that have put out an album and it's a celebratory matter. You hit the town, you celebrate in the feet. But if you're putting an album out every single day, you go out and hit the town every single night? Like... No, but seriously, these books that we're putting out are so awesome. Phenomenal. Do I have one near me? I don't think I do. I don't have my glasses on either. I do have this John Polkinghorne book on quantum theory. Everything is possible. Not likely, but possible. Remember that. What would you do if nothing was impossible? Now that's a question, that's a worthwhile question to answer. Answer honestly, genuinely, what would you do if nothing was impossible? I think the sun's gone down, so it's good. It's good that we put the light on, right? I thought we could make it for a half hour, but I don't think so. It would have been pretty dark. I think last week was the only one that I've missed. It was the first one I've missed in quite a while. Maybe a year. Maybe the first one I've missed in a year. I've been doing them pretty consistently, so don't worry. There was no medical emergency. It was a conscious choice. I was in Chicago last weekend. And this summer, I've loved so much going to Chicago. I'll go and stay with friends a night or two. I go to the Art Institute of Chicago member lounge, and I just work the entire day. Chicago Athletic Association before it opens. Then I make music with my friend at night, and then the next day pretty much do the same thing. get a haircut trim or a haircut, and go to happy hour and take the train back to Wisconsin. And I've loved it so much because there's so much energy in Chicago this time of the year. Summer in Chicago is magnificent. Best American city in the summer, Chicago. So I've loved it. So I intentionally was like, I'm not even gonna, no. I'm just gonna enjoy and indulge myself and not worry about recording anything, or I'm just going. So broke the streak. No, it feels like so much fun. So what's fun to you that feels like work to others? Yeah, just like writing and designing books and solving problems that come up. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun in like a cool atmosphere, just focused and just present, so present. It's the best. I want to be doing that every single day. And the obstacle is marketing or selling. But I changed the folder. I called it growth and energy. The word marketing, it just like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. I just like, I can't, it's like a thing that it's not real, whereas like when you look at nature, like growth and energy, like that's a real thing. When you plant a tree and it gets sun and water and, its roots take place in soil, it grows and it's clear, Marketing, it's like this, I don't know. I'll figure it out though. But yeah, there's that feeling of just like, oh, I love this. I want to be doing this all the time. Every day. All day. Piggybacking off of that, when was the last time you felt alive? Like fully engaged and present? Yeah, I just want to do more. I don't want to stop. I was in the office yesterday till I couldn't stand anymore, or sit anymore, or whatever. Actually, it's usually when my eyes need a break. They need rest. And during this time, too, it's like I have to remind myself that I'm human. And like biological, like I'm a biological thing. You can't just... You're not a machine, You're a biological thing. But that might be more of an indication of like not knowing when to stop. Like what, that's more of a measurement or an outcome of not being intentional of like what would be successful today, or like what would we be satisfied with if we did. That's more of an indication that I just sat down on the computer and just was like, let's go. Till we're saying, let's stop. So that's where like stepping back helps, and like figuring out, being more intentional, so that the journey's a little bit more enjoyable and more sustainable, rather than just going full throttle every day, all day. Okay, let's finish this session with what are we energized for in the next week. Summer's, we got apparently 1 month of summer left. A little cooler today, a little cooler yesterday, but August is going to heat up, right? September too. It's a little weird, I don't know. It feels bizarre. It feels like summer is almost over. But I'm enjoying it too much. Why does it need to end? Gosh, warm weather just makes everything easier. Everything easier, more enjoyable. The mental energy, that's a thing. At least for me, maybe not being in warm weather makes me overthink of like all the things that I need to bring with me if I go somewhere, and situations. And summer, I just walk out the door. I think it's a real thing, like the mental energy and the exertion in cold weather versus warm weather. Where I'm at too, it doesn't get too hot. It's not like crazy. Other parts of the U.S., like non-Midwest, and those summers are hot, real hot. Anyways, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here and give attention, not only, like to myself and this podcast, but to yourself. And I swear, if you just do these things and develop these simple, fundamental habits, your life is going to be so much more fulfilling and rich and enjoyable. All we have is time. So by doing these things, you create a foundation to where your time is just so much greater, and your experience is much more whole and full of love and joy. So again, it's through the accumulation of these things like this, and just taking time to breathe. And on that note, go out there and inspire the future.